Hello, welcome everybody to Kahaaniyaan, a Sarzameen campaign done in Quest. And tonight is our season finale, our last game for 2020. And for this particular season, and we'll see how that goes. And I'm very excited and nervous and all sorts of feelings. But before we get into that, let's go around the virtual table and introduce our players. Let's start off with Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, um, known as Gojin. His real name's Nabir, but no one knows that so far.
It's never been brought up.
It's never been brought up. And it never will. That's a lie. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get stabbed.
And Connie.
Hey everybody, my name is Connie, my pronouns are they, he, and she. I play John Slee Tahid on this lovely, lovely adventure, who is our doctor. Full disclaimer, I did get my wisdom teeth removed last Friday, so I might be a little, my voice might be a little slurred at times, so that's what that is. I'm really excited for this finale. John Slee, I don't know what's going to happen with her, but what I will say is, even though she's the doctor, it was only last session that she took an advancement known as heal. As the doctor, so that'll tell you what my build's like for her. Very, very, very necromantic. And yeah, I'll pass along introductions.
Yeah, Bashir.
Hello, I am Bashir, he, him pronouns. I play Rahim, a very large lizard, private detective, and general disaster and or troublemaker, depending on task at hand. He is currently possessed by many ghosts, and is working on a cunning plan to deal with the mega corporation family that wants them dead by ruining a dude's wedding.
And we shall see how that goes. And last but certainly not least, Morgan.
Hey, I'm Morgan. My pronouns are they, them, and she, her interchangeably. I play the lovely dirt child that you have all come to cherish and enjoy, named Tulsi. They, them pronouns. They are the naturalist. Yes, they are the dirt child, literally, because nature.
Yep, and I am the guide for this evening, Mariam. You can find me on Twitter at media_junkie. And with that, we will now go into our recap, which, if it's your first time joining us, welcome. I like making the players do that because that's one less thing for me, and it's just so much fun to see what the players remember. So who would like to start? Don't all go at once.
I mean, I have notes, so I'll wait to fill in the holes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have notes, by all means, just take the lead.
Why can't you start?
I start pretty regularly. I'm pretty sure I've got half our recaps.
I'll try. I'll start. How about that? Compromise. I'm pretty sure we started in the middle of like combat. Yeah. Right? We were fighting. Yeah. Okay. So long story short, our party is on our way to crash a wedding. For plot-related reasons, character-related reasons. We all have a stake in this. And the group we were traveling with, this caravan, basically like perfumists, right? Like sweet women who are just, agreed to take us for a low fee. Turns out they're actually poison people. It's not just perfume. Just kidding. There's scorpion poison in it. We're going to kill you. And they were hired by someone to try to assassinate the party, leaving all but Bashir's character dead, Rahim. Or at least that was their plan. But we are all competent fighters, and we were able to fight back. I'm pretty sure Gojin killed quite a few people, right? If I recall correctly.
And Tulsi fried a couple.
No, I think Tulsi killed more than Gojin did.
Actually, you're right. Well, Tulsi, our sweet summer child, killed a few people.
You die.
It was Palpatine levels of shock murder.
It was straight up. You literally summoned a bolt of lightning from the gods to smite your foes, and that happened.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
The words unlimited power may or may not have been uttered.
Yes. Johnsley was very shaken up about this. She's a doctor. She heals, not kills. And she tries to resurrect the dead, not make people dead. So she was traumatized and sort of tuned out after the battle ended. I think we were able to capture one of them and interrogate her, and then we let her go. Right? I'm pretty sure that's how that
ran.
Yes, and one ran away. Yep, one managed to flee and escape. Does anyone want to pick up after me?
So we got information on that, and we kind of started preparing for the finale. People sent letters out. We started research, like figuring out who was going to be in the city at the time of the wedding. All that good stuff that goes into, preparing for a climactic confrontation. And I believe we ended as we arrived at the city. There were some heartfelt and surprisingly serious conversations featuring Gojin and Johnsley talking about necromancy, but it was still a serious conversation. Or it was still a heartfelt conversation. Necromancy, I feel, kind of defaults to serious outside of, I don't know, Reanimator or something.
There was some talk about disturbing the natural order and ending death permanently.
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Which may or may not have troubled Gojin just a teeny bit.
Yep. A great talk to enter the finale in with.
Mm-hmm. It was good. And then we got items.
Mm-hmm.
And we did some like snapshot in between things while we're at this like in between town. Like Tulsi got us disguises so we can go in and be sneaky into this wedding without being seen.
Yep, you have several ways in which you can tackle the festivities. You had as you went through your would-be assassin's things, you found an invitation addressed to a well-known magician whose auction you actually went to in episode 1 or 2. And turns out this wedding was sort of planned around that time and reached the house without actually confirming whether this magician was alive or not. So, with this isn't the age of the internet, so it's possible you could get away with impersonating a person, especially with the tools that were left behind with the assassins and the assassins' belongings. In addition, that wedding card does have a list of all the festivities that I can go over very quickly. In short, there's like public and private events. In terms of public, as in open to the general public, a big show of wealth and stuff, and then there's private, meaning just for the wedding guests who have an invitation. And day 1 comprises of essentially the family mixer, where the bride and the groom's family meet each other, and kind of there's a parade of since the bride is a princess off the city that you are going to, it's the groom's procession arriving and sort of being the visitor, being welcomed to the city. That's a public event, and then there's other sort of family mixers and get-togethers that are more private and invitation only, which you have access to. Day 2 is essentially all the preparations for the wedding itself, so it's like the equivalent of like a bridal shower, groom shower, those sort of things. The henna ceremony, the haldi ceremony, which is when they apply essentially a turmeric face and body back to make them glow golden and beautify themselves. And that's a day and night of merriment. The third day is the actual ceremony. So if you feel like you want to prevent this from happening, you probably need to do something before the wedding itself. And day 3 is all the ceremonies and rituals of the actual confirming the wedding. And then day 4 is like the reception and farewell, as the bride leaves with the groom to wherever they are going to go. So what we are going to do now is sort of open it up to what would y'all like to do? You are in the city, and with your disguises, you are given some mobility to roam around the city. And it's like maybe you have like a day or two before the actual wedding, the day 1 festivities and everything begin. So, what y'all doing?
I think Johnsley's gonna try to snoop around and see if there's like is there like an on-call doctor or like healers working the event or anything that she can like, you know what I mean?
There is a royal physician, but that would be definitely in the palace. There's, if you're thinking about like sort of a public event or whatever, these events don't get so out of hand that a physician's required. It's usually just they're parading. They're essentially having a procession through town, and it's a procession through town, and people just basically stand on the sides of the main pathway and let the procession go through. And then once they pass through the palace gates, nobody's actually allowed within the palace. It's like just watching the procession into the palace. And then essentially, the palace itself is invitation only. Like if you have a wedding invitation, like you do, you may go in.
What do other folks want to do?
I think Rahim wants to start getting some rumors spread. Ideally in the he'll put on a disguise since we have some available and just kind of start getting stuff spread about the groom's family and the legitimacy of the marriage before we go in to sell the bride side on the problems.
All right. Where and how are you doing it?
Probably rumor mongering before day 1. Kind of like this place probably has like caravanserais for places going through, and kind of all sorts of places where you restaurants and eateries, and like probably some sort of tea shop, I'm assuming. And so kind of just going through these and dropping rumors to people who will listen and where he thinks it'll spread. Especially since, like, you know, the last wedding this family had everyone involved die and the groom go missing, which is pretty great for rumor mongering and will eventually self-confirm. So, you know, there's plentiful basis to start. There's fertile soil, as it were, to start messing things up.
Okay. Roll me a d20 to see how far it spreads and where you can spread it.
Okay. So that did fall off the table, but it was a natural 20 when it landed on the ground. Would you like me to re-roll that? Or
nope.
Okay.
Yeah, so you actually do find you know, for weddings like this, it's really important to hit the strata of class that would be within the like the wedding itself. So definitely nobility, royalty, important people. And you managed to actually, with the help of disguises and everything, find a couple of well-to-do places where the aristocrats rub elbows and stuff, and start spreading it. Start doing a little whisper here, a little whisper there.
Excellent.
And we'll see how we'll see the outcome of that later on.
Cool. I have another idea, but I want to give space for other folks to also say what they want to do.
Yeah. I think since Tulsi doesn't have much of the way of people hunting them down or, running into family members of the family that I left because I couldn't handle the commitment of marriage. Tulsi's
Oddly specific hypothetical.
I know.
I'm sure no one in this party would know anything about that. Isn't that
No,
right?
of course we don't know anything about it. I'm working into stating that. I love you.
I expected the knives from Mariam, but you know.
Also, it's actually really hard to get hold of the bride and the bride's family because they're busy with wedding stuff. So it's actually kind of hard to get an audience with the princess at the moment. So just keep that in mind as you plan stuff.
Tulsi's just
how
trying
to
to
get that audience. There are several ways of getting it. It's just not easy.
I think Tulsi's just going in and talking to people and just hearing what the locals have to say about the wedding and like what they think of the bride and the groom and all that. Just trying to hear, just trying to drum up what the locals may know that we wouldn't.
Are you using a particular skill, or are you just sort of a general?
I don't have a skill.
Well, sorry, ability, because I know you went naturalist. I think some of them are ranger abilities where you could actually gather information from the locals.
But I wanted to grab it from let's see, I can like lean into a stone monument and just be like, hello friend, hello statue, tell me your secrets. I can do that. But any other ones, that's a no-go.
Will you roll me a d20, please?
Okay. That's a 10.
Okay, so you succeed. Sorry, what was the thing you were trying to find out about the bride and groom?
Yeah, from the locals, like just hearing what they have, their thoughts and opinions on the families that are getting married, and if they had any extra like local information they could provide.
So, from what you overhear, the princess here is beloved. Everyone thinks the world of her. She cares a lot for the people. She's always very generous with her words and her time and whatever. And they don't know too much about this the groom, as the groom's not from here, but they kind of have this like, oh, the princess would obviously marry someone really nice. And sort of like, bless this marriage. It's kind of like Kate and William, sort of the kind of frenzy that's happening here.
Yeah. And I think with that, Tulsi's just, just trying to blend in with the locals in a sense. But that's about it. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Cool. For what Johnsley's gonna try to do before day one, or maybe during, I'm not exactly sure when this would slot in best, is probably maybe recruit Gojin's help, and try to figure out what's going on with the kitchen staff, or if they're hiring outside, maybe like an outside tea company to like cater the wedding or like bring in special fancy tea. Because Johnsley's thinking is she wants to find a way in through like the workers of the wedding, and either like try to spike specifically the groom's food, so he'll act like a fool, basically, during the wedding and just thoroughly humiliate himself if the rumors aren't enough.
Yeah, Gojin, what do you think?
Yeah, that's kind of where Gojin was thinking. He was just going to figure out the catering situation, as he was also trying to figure out a way to um, get into either the groom or the bride's facilities, their
Okay.
households and such.
So, you know, just from general asking around from the both of you, that the palace will be in charge of preparing sort of the invited guest food versus um essentially uh all the restaurants in town kind of just doing something special for the wedding in terms of public feasts. But they are being paid for by the by the royal family.
Okay.
Okay.
So it might be a little harder to because a lot of the royal staff have been there for years. They're very well vetted and everything. However, Gojin, um, you see, like, as you're kind of in disguises and you're looking around, you see some of the guests arriving, and you see two very familiar figures kind of passing through. Uh, it is a Balvinder and Rihan. Um, and they haven't quite recognized you yet, but you kind of overhear as you're chatting up and everything that Balvinder is actually part of the princess's royal circle, like, you know, inner circle, like essentially part of the bridal party. That she had somehow done enough mingling that she is actually one of the princess's attendants for this wedding.
Okay. Gojin is going to be as discreet as possible and not wander anywhere near them, let alone within line of sight of them. And if Johnsley is with him, she would probably notice that Gojin seems more cautious than usual.
Well, is everything okay, Gojin? Do you see assassins? Are they here for us?
I wouldn't call them assassins per se.
Per se? And Johnsley's like going for the dagger strapped to her waist, like looking around a little warily.
Whoa, calm down. We're not vigilantes.
What?
Yet.
No, but we are harassed. We have been harassed, and we have been targeted by assassins in the past.
But these ones are not targeting us. I didn't say they were assassins. I just said that they weren't much better than assassins. Okay.
Who? All I see are just a bunch of very well-dressed women.
And you notice that there's two particular figures that Gojin's going out of his way to avoid.
What do they look like?
Do you want to give those descriptions?
Depending on how observant and attention to detail Johnsley has, she will recognize the male person there is basically a scrawnier, slightly less handsome version of Gojin. You know, he has got a full set of hair, whereas Gojin is still completely shaven.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's sort of a knockoff version of
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and the woman appears to be very, very wealthy, and has quite, I would probably say, has a rather strong looking build, because it's clear that she's no stranger to manual work.
Mm-hmm. Does she also resemble Gojin, or is there no real resemblance?
No, there's no resemblance.
Okay. Johnsley follows Gojin's nervous gaze to this couple, does a double take, and goes, "What? Hold on, wait, is that your brother?
Shh.
You have a brother? Is that his wife? She's way out of his league. Why didn't you tell me this, Gojin? I thought we were friends."
Didn't tell anyone this. Let's be real.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I don't know, I'm sure Tulsi and Rahim don't know, which is a small comfort to Johnsley. But why would they be here? Why would they be invited?
I'm not particularly sure, apart from the fact that maybe the woman has very ambitious goals.
The woman? She's your sister-in-law, isn't she?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Why don't you like them, Gojin? They're your family. You should go say hi.
No, that's they're in my past. I don't need them.
Okay. Johnsley's just gonna let them pass if they're moving past, or are they
they're going into sort of the palatial wing. Like, the place you are is kind of like a you were making inquiries with staff, and they're kind of on their way to the palace. Like, you're in the palace, just outside the palace, and you see it's kind of a place where guests who aren't necessarily part of the procession but are part of the wedding are entering and coming by. And you notice that the man and the woman split up after sort of getting out of view, and the woman is heading into what you think is probably the princess's quarters, or the princess's wing of the palace.
Okay. Well, hold on, Gojin. We've been knocking our heads against a brick wall in terms of leads for getting in. Would they be able to help us?
They will not want to help us.
Well, maybe we can talk some sense into them. I'm sorry, Gojin. Please forgive me for what I am about to do.
No.
Excuse me, miss.
Gojin is going to wrap his hand across Jocelyn's mouth and pull her away.
Does she hear me shout before I'm strangled?
You see the man is a little closer and kind of turns around and kind of looks at you, kind of being swept away, and kind of does a squint as who, what? And then it's hi? Beer? And starts running towards you.
Oh.
Damn it.
Yes.
Seriously, Johnsley?
What are
you...
You're still, I think, if you still have your hand clasped over his mouth.
And then he looks at
he's going to
says,
swing. He's going to swing Johnsley over his shoulder and try to sprint away.
He tries to catch up, and he's like, wait, have you turned into a petty criminal now? Is this what you'd wanted to become? Wait!
Johnsley is thrashing as hard as she can against Gojin, her kind of frail fists pounding on his muscular back. Is her head thrown over his shoulder so she's looking at...
She can look back, yeah. That's...
Yeah, she's trying to wave at this person, being please come, get me, help me,
Wait, is that
we'll
why
do this later.
Is that why you left Belwinder for her?
Johnsley looks really offended at that and smacks Gojin on his shaven head.
Now is not the time. I need to get out of here.
You are now attracting the attention of the guards because there's a trashing person that you were abducting with.
Johnsley is trying to say is Gojin still clamping a hand over her mouth?
No, he can't because he decided he would just go
run.
She sort of hisses well, it's a little too late for that now, isn't it?
We don't know that.
Wait, stop!
He doesn't have as much stamina as me. I can outrun him.
I'm sure you can, but Gojin, slow down. He seems nice.
He is not nice.
Gojin, I really didn't want to pull this card, but you are forcing my hand, okay? Help! Help me! Help! Guards, help! I'm being abducted.
As you're getting clear that there's two guards near the entrance that are now blocking you. Like, stop, abductor! Unhand this maiden!
Oh, okay. And, Gojin is going to attempt to lift Johnsley off his shoulders, but swing her so that her feet go flying and basically kick the guards in the face. as he switches her over onto his other shoulder.
Give me a D20 for that, or if you have a skill ability.
I assume it's an attack ability.
Yes.
Wait. Let me see if I have something.
Like some sort of an improvised attack or something.
I don't consent to being used as a weapon. As she's flying through the air.
I can try using wild attack.
I don't know that applies to using another person as an attack.
You attack with reckless power. I think this is pretty reckless. Disregarding your safety.
Definitely reckless.
But I feel like that would be disregarding our safety. So
Wait, will you break my ankles on a nat 1?
Your weapon breaks on a nat 1.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Are you okay with this?
Are you okay with this?
Yeah, I can heal myself. It's fine.
Okay, fine. I will allow a wild attack using your party member as a weapon.
Please let this work.
Okay.
I got a 16.
All right, what happens on a 16?
I deal double damage.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna say because I'm gonna say this is kind of you're using Chunsley as a weapon, so it does 1 damage unless it says otherwise. So 2 damage, you kind of are able to stun them and maybe run, but your brother's kind of huffing and puffing and still chasing you at this point.
Okay. Yeah. Now Gojin is still going to keep going.
God.
But now, Johnsley is facing forward on his other shoulder. He says,
Okay.
Listen, I will explain this later, but we need to go because I do not want them to know that I'm here. And the more you yell, the more he's going to really realize that he knows me or is related to me.
Well, I think that's pretty obvious. Now, who the hell is Nabir? Who is that? It's Gojin.
Listen. There is someone here who might be able to help, but it's not them. Okay?
You promise?
I promise.
You pinky promise.
I can't pinky promise while I'm running like this.
Well, fine, but you also have to tell me everything, okay? You've been keeping way too much from your friends.
Friends is a strong word for this party, but...
Well, I don't know what else to say. You're a fellow criminals? I'd rather not use that term. So, fine. I will acquiesce. It's clear that you're desperate to get out of this situation. As she sort of twists her body like toward this presumably brother who's chasing after them and says, "It's okay. It was just a misunderstanding. I thought I was being abducted, but really, I know this guy. It's fine. I just had to be flipped around. Sorry about your face. Try icing it."
So, how long are you going to continue this run?
Until we shake Rohan and get someplace quiet to hide and let everything die down.
So, Rehan chases you for about maybe 5 more minutes, like past the gates into the city, but you eventually find a actually, you know what? Roll me a d20 to see whether you shake him off or not.
Yeah, that's a 6.
Okay. So that is a tough. You do succeed, but it is a tough choice. So you either Rihan catches up with you, or you further catch the attention of the palace guards.
Can I make a counter offer?
Sure.
Instead of catching, instead of being caught by Rihan or the palace guards, Gojin runs into his mother.
Yeah, okay. So you managed to shake Rihan off, but in a very crowded area where essentially people are making space for procession and street vendors and everything. You don't see where you're going, and you go crash into an elderly woman.
Oh no.
And as you sort of dust yourself and basically, gently, you're kind of in a heap and you manage to stand up. Gojin, it is your mother, and she's staring at you for a moment.
I'm still on my jog.
Uh-huh.
Oh, come on. That was a throwback to episode 1. Come on.
No. Yeah, well, your mother kind of gives you this, like, uh-huh, right. So...
Could you hide us for a bit? I will explain. But, I don't want my brother to know we're here.
You realize I am with your brother.
I know, but you can... We'll talk about it later.
And sort of looks you up and down, Junsely.
Junsely is still sort of on the ground. Maybe has like a tomato. Like a tomato on her head. She quickly like throws it off. Goes, what? Gojin, did I knock my head, or do you? Is this? Can I see the resemblance? Is there like any resemblance at all?
Is there?
No, not really. But you can tell that Gojin now has
Gojin
actual
would not be
fear
treating
for his
anyone
life.
else with this much respect.
Yeah.
And
this is the first time you've like.
she kind of nods and sort of takes you to a certain, like, kind of leads you to another location. And she turns around and says, you know, son, if you wanted to marry someone else, you could have just said so.
What? Oh.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not courting Johnsley. We just simply traveled together out of necessity.
You were getting married?
You know, in certain other villages, this is how they bring the bride home.
Yes, I'm aware, but the rest of our party includes a very tall lizard, and
a young person who can summon the wrath of the gods. But that's besides the point. Hi, I'm so sorry. And Johnslee quickly gets the tomato out of her hair. My name's Johnslee, as she extends a hand.
And she shakes it and sort of is like, no, like, you know, if you have taken care of my dear son, you know, and just kind of goes in for a hug.
Well. And Johnslee kind of awkwardly pats this woman on the back and gives Gojin a look like over her shoulder, like and mouths like, "Your mom is nice," and then like, "What happened to you?" And then like, let's go of Gojin's mom.
And I feel like you are close to where the other family member, sorry, not family members, where the other party members would be, and you were going to meet up at some point. So,
if I could make a suggestion, Rahim saw like a bunch of guards and this random dude trying to chase someone, and pretty much just reflexively offered his services as an investigator to find whoever's responsible for this dastardly kidnapping, figuring, hey, this person is on the princess's side, maybe this will get us that meeting.
Yes, I think I saw someone. I think I saw my brother running away with some woman. Maybe his beloved? I don't know. I need to find my brother.
Is there any reason you know of why he might be trying to avoid you and wouldn't stick around to talk things out? Is there any details you could fill in about this woman that would help the investigation, possible motives?
I don't know.
Financial fraud at home.
She just looks really scrawny with wraps, tans, like as if her hands have been damaged or hurt. I don't know. I didn't think my brother was like this. My brother just one day left.
Well, it's often the most unassuming people who turn out to be kind of the worst. Don't worry, I'll do my best to track him down and get to the bottom of this for you.
Yes, I have to go back to the palace, but my name is Rihan, and if you get any information, please just tell the palace guards that you are you know me, and hopefully if you have any information, please. Thank you so much.
Of course, and if you have this brother's name by that might help with an investigation.
The Nabir.
All right, thank you. I'll be back to you as soon as I have anything. With any luck, we'll have this handled within the day.
So fast, and starts kind of walking back to the palace.
I think Tulsi is actually in the market where Gojin ran into his mom.
Yeah.
And so her the slam and skedaffle and like everybody sort of crowding. And so them being the nosy bean that they are, starts like squeezing through the crowd, and then I think they just stick their head in and like, oh hey guys.
Gojin just hangs his head. It's like things just keep getting worse.
I think this is when Rahim shows up. Like, casually goes, hey, so good news. I think I have our way into the palace. Oh, hello, ma'am. I don't believe we've met at Nabir's mother. Yeah, I just have to find this prick who's kidnapped a woman named Nabir, and we should be well on our way to getting in.
And now your mom looks at you incredulously and looks gently up and down, like, oh, like with this look of pity of like, I'm so... Like, oh, my poor child, what has Gojin done to you? Sort of a look.
Gojin just falls back and just throws his arm over his face.
So, Gojin, Dunsley, how's your day been going?
You see Gojin's hand just lifts up and flips the birdie.
Not bad, huh? if you could introduce me to whoever this lovely woman is, I'm sure we could proceed at pace, really, where I'm pretty sure I'm most of the way through getting us in.
I think Tulsi just chops in and goes like, "Hi, I'm Tulsi," and just holds a hand out like.
And the mother again sort of like shakes a hand and looks to Gojin / Nabir and is like, "Okay, explain what is going on. What have you done on this jog?"
Can we go someplace private? Because technically all of our lives are in danger. Us four, not yours, mother.
Well, I am.
Wait, sorry, this is your mother?
Yes, and apparently Gojin is Nabir, and apparently we're engaged.
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
No.
Also, that does explain a few things.
What is? I was joking. What the hell does that mean?
Joking? Oh.
What? Oh, Tulsi, you sweet. Thank you for being happy for me, but Gojin is not. We're not together.
I'm sorry, Gojin. She like and they pat an arm.
And she says, "Well, the only place I think that would be private, since I'm new here, would be the palace, but I'm not sure you want to go to the palace."
No, just some place where we're not easily observed. Is there like a tea place with a shady corner? No, we'll deal with the palace thing later.
Tea place it is.
Could everyone just stop being a crazy disaster?
Yeah, you can kind of start leading your way to a tea shop that is kind of quiet.
While we're walking, John Sleeds like tugs on Gojin and says, I do resent being called a crazy disaster. And I know we're not together at all, but it is a little hurtful when you deny it so quickly and immediately. Is there something wrong with me?
And you hear your mother sniggering. Just sniggering, but not saying anything.
Gojin's just gonna say, "Oh God, where do I even begin?"
Rahim takes this opportunity to introduce himself to Gojin's mother and get in on the gossip before he can really do it, while he's still off balance and trying to get there somewhere private. In that he is pretty gleefully sharing what he knows with Gojin's mother, on the assumption that this will presumably cause the most distress.
So what are the key highlights? Real quick.
Yeah, we're wanted by the Groom's family, who are currently planning to murder all of us. Your son has killed 3 people in the past few weeks. What? 3 people in the past few weeks. It's been very impressive. Let's see.
That's when he cuts in and I'm like, "Look, that was self-defense." Okay.
Oh, yes, it was. But it was still 3 people, which is more than I've killed ever, really. Which, since he's evidently gotten a recent start, is really very impressive. We figured out that the Groom's family is involved in a long-standing conspiracy that has ruined countless lives. It's really, there's a lot of it that we probably should discuss at the tea house, but he's been doing well. He hasn't eloped that I've seen. And that happens. Also, he's currently on the run from his brother because of an assumed kidnapping of her, which was not happening, but I'm sure will delight you as both of their mothers. As their mother.
And to top it all off, he tried to blame me for not locking a door that I did lock. That's the real kicker. Did we get to the tea shop yet?
Yeah. I was like, wait, lock a door? What have you been up to?
things.
If you don't want to tell your mother, I can continue telling your mother for you with my natural take on things. It's really your pick of which poison you want to go for here.
Poison? What is this about?
I need
poison?
it. I need some tea if I'm going to deal with all of this.
Yeah,
And you can see like Gojin's fingers are like twitching a little bit from the stress, which is probably the most unsettled anyone in the group has seen Gojin at this point.
Rahim's just got a big old smile.
And
I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this. It's all this guy's fault that I'm involved in this. And
Correct.
He's just gonna point at the lizard.
Correct. This is all my fault.
And as you notice, there's a skeleton crew, literally just one person, because everybody's out in the procession, and sort of is like, okay, I'll get you some tea, and kind of shuffles off in a very exceedingly slow manner. Really old dude, just shuffling.
God. Okay. I feel bad for making him serve us.
Do I need to go help him? Like, I don't know if I can help.
No,
Are you asking me, the
fine.
GM, or just...
No, I'm asking the group.
No, it's fine.
By all means, I'm sure he would appreciate the assistance.
No, it's okay, Tulsi. It's his job. I'm sure he'll... we'll keep an eye on him. How about that?
I think Tulsi just got started just like lean into
there. Well, not so aggressively, Tulsi.
Okay,
it's
sorry.
Not a piece of meat.
They're gonna turn back around and just like be like, I've got hands. Just stare at their fingers, I guess.
So,
I'm gonna die in this city.
What?
No, that would be too easy. That would be merciful.
Ryan, stop! Well, Gojin's been through a lot, and Gojin, I have to apologize. I didn't know your relationship with your family was so strained. Well, I guess I did know. You just shot at me not to do anything, but I couldn't help. I couldn't help it. I thought you need to stop running away from what appear to be perfectly normal, kind people like your mother and your brother. A bit scrawny, but he seemed well-meaning. Why don't you... What's the beef?
Just wanted a new start.
And I thought that's what you wanted to do, and I supported you, even if I didn't support your method. But you could have stayed and at least let Palvinder know what you wanted to do instead of just that one note that you left to your brother.
Well, I left a note for Balvinder too, didn't she say?
Well, all I know is your father and your uncle both were trying to well, they were very upset to you. Father's dead, sorry. Your elders, my bad. Your elders tried to fix the situation by suggesting Rihon take your place, but Balvinder refused. Said that she's nobody's sloppy seconds.
Oh. You see like just a look of understanding dawn on Johnslee's face, and she goes, "You turned her down?"
Okay, so here's the thing. And Gojin tries to run again. No, I'm just kidding. So here's the thing. Balvinder is, how you say, pretty headstrong. And that doesn't bother me. That didn't really bother me at all. But here's the thing, is that she expected to be the head of the family and the head of the business when we were going to get married. But her father told me that he was going to name me as the head of the business. And he did not tell Balvinder that.
So hold on. Whose family owns this business? What business?
Our tea plant. We have a tea plantation.
You have a tea plantation?
Well, technically, I don't anymore. It belongs to my uncle and Rehan.
Wait. Why do you want to start your own tea company when you
it's
already?
Balvinder's now, because Rehan doesn't really want to. He's not very good at it, and well, kind of gave it up to Balvinder.
Well, see, this wouldn't have happened if he didn't keep skipping leg day.
I think Tulsi's just sitting there, just like watching all this and just drinking like a cup of water, just like.
It's like Baby Yoda and soup.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, just like, well, I'm here.
Just to be clear, you're a runaway elite tea tycoon who decided to skip out on your wedding because of things not being told to your bride-to-be, and were as a result working as a porter in the middle of the country for several months before getting involved in a national conspiracy involving a soul-eating ring, wherein you killed 3. Were those the first 3 people you've ever killed?
No.
Okay, that's at least one load off my mind.
That's an extra load on mine. What do you mean you've killed people before?
Okay, so here's the thing. There are these people called bandits, and occasionally they try to rob my family and
How
our
rich?
caravans. We're not rich, okay?
You own a tea plantation, definitionally, or owned, past tense, but definitionally, you own the capital that is owned, the capital that makes up wealth. Your your family is the personal friends of a princess with caravans.
No. And Gojin is going to look around the table, and he's going to take a roll, I guess. Maybe there's a basket of bread or something like. So he takes a roll, and he like.
There's a lot of bopper, which is like the thin crackers.
Yeah. So he whittles it down to like maybe the size of his thumbnail. I'm like, this is our plantation. And then he takes 2 or 3 puffers and then arranges them in a neat little triangle. And like, this is Balvinder's plantation. Okay. We were not rich. We are comfortable. But Balvinder's family has been trying to take over the whole. Well, take over all of the tea in Puthari.
And they've succeeded, evidently.
Well, yes, because I didn't know my brother was going to be that inept. But, here's the thing, is that Balvinder would never have accepted me being the head of the family business.
Why not?
Because she believes she would be the head of the business.
Well, she is a very strong-looking young woman. I wouldn't cross swords with her on purpose, if you know what I mean.
But here's the thing, though. If you were just handed a tea empire. Would you ever think of yourself as a truly skilled tea master?
Rahim kind of raises the ring on his finger and how we got into this mess. I'm going to go with yes, judging by my past decisions.
I couldn't live like that. How do I... Here's going to be a new shocker to my mother. Pathari tea is not all that great. Overrated. Okay?
I own
a little bit
Pathari
overrated.
tea. I'm assuming it's like a big like conglomerate. John Sleeve's probably
It's not
had...
big. It's sort of...
Okay.
If I was going to make it an equivalent, I would say it's like Radiohead.
Okay.
It's kind of niche. The Pathari tea is, what people will say is automatically like, oh, it's some higher end tea, but it's really not. It's
And this was Nabir's fiance's family?
Yeah.
Or
that's just the tea in Pathari in general.
Okay.
But here's the thing, is that Pathari thinks that their tea is the best in all of the country, even though they've never tried growing tea in other parts of the country.
I see.
That's because tea only grows in our climate?
No, that's not it at all. Shockingly, I went to the Central Market and there was tea from all over the country. You see, this is the thing that Pathari farmers don't understand. This tea, all of the tea in this country is the same plant. The differences that you see in the tea is the way where it's grown and how it's processed.
Clearly you're very passionate about this, Gojin, which I'm very happy about. So the reason why you didn't want to accept this title is because you didn't want to just inherit tea wealth. You wanted to prove to the world that you were the best.
Yes, because my father built up his own business on his own with the support of his wife and blah, 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 blah. But he was independent. And
whatever you wanted to do, you didn't have to run away.
Well, I couldn't just stay there.
Yeah, based on
how much of this did you communicate to your family at any point? Just throwing that out there.
I am not going to sit here and be judged by a lizard who, on a whim, put on a soul-eating ring and drew him and 3 innocent people into a massive criminal conspiracy.
Hey, in opposition to a massive criminal conspiracy.
Yes. You got my letter, didn't you?
I did. What was in the letter? This is GM too.
So we remember that when things looked pretty bad, Gojin made the decision to send a letter to his mother to explain the trouble that he is having with the groom's family and was going to try to seek allies to basically save his ass, but do so on the down low. But apparently this group does not like to do anything on the quote-unquote down low. So
I have notified half the nobles in the country of the conspiracy,
well, you might not like it, but I think you should ask for Balvinder's help. She is close to the princess. She could get you a private audience. And honestly, son,
I would rather cut down the groom myself.
I think she does. She does want an explanation beyond a note, and
I do feel this is a explain in person sort of situation.
And you might be surprised with her response. She might be okay with it. I mean, she might be mad at you for kind of putting her in a very awkward social situation.
What, ruining a wedding to a morally corrupt family?
Which one are you, like, as a GM, which one are you referring to?
I'm just going to go out on a limb and just say that, he didn't really like the way Balvinder's family did business, so.
I mean,
small difference between labor exploitation and mass murder, but
yeah,
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I do understand your moral objection.
I'm sorry, I have to interject. Gojin, and I want you to tell the truth. Did you love her?
Let's just say that I kind of fell out of love with her.
So you were in love before.
Yes, but then, you just outgrow certain people.
Outgrow? Does she still love... Auntie, does she still love your son?
I'm not
Does
all
she
that
know?
close to Balvinder, especially after you left, and she kind of started getting involved in a lot of work, and also I had to deal with the fact that Rihan is sweet. Is a sweet child. I love all my children equally.
Johnsley doubts that, but doesn't say anything.
He did run halfway across the city to try and pursue his missing brother before he ran out of breath and hired a private investigator. Speaking of which, we do kind of have an overlapping way into the palace.
You ran into
Speaking
Rihan?
of which, I think Rihan will be looking for me. I should go. I'm going to give you the opportunity to approach them on your terms, but as your mother, I really think you should reach out to, honestly, the only family you have left.
That's just you, isn't it?
Rob just audibly is just...
I think Tulsi
She
actually
gives
just
you
like
the
slaps
withering
like
mother look
Yeah.
and gets up and leaves.
I think Tulsi
Rob,
just
Like
wait
slapped
she
till
goes,
leaves
she
the
goes
room.
up to you and kind of gives you a pat and a kiss on the forehead and leaves.
Rob just kind of waits for her to leave, locks eyes with the beer. I thought I was the most toxic person to my interpersonal relationships that I knew, but you have blown me out of the water over the course of the last 40 minutes. It's genuinely impressive, and I am in awe at what you have managed.
You don't know me.
Clearly.
You're right.
Yeah,
It's the cruelest possible thing I could say about you.
At this point, you actually hear the fire being lit to boil the water.
Only now?
I don't think this guy's going to finish our tea.
the owner was too busy listening to RT to start the actual tea.
Yeah, he was like listening.
You get the sense he might be a little hard of hearing as well.
Oh.
So, Gojin or Nabir or whatever we should call you.
Yeah, what do you want us to call you?
Just Gojin.
Gojin,
Beer's
okay.
like I said, I wanted to start over. Start fresh on my own terms.
Okay then. Gojin, are you gonna talk to your ex?
You should.
I think you should.
She deserves at least an answer.
She does. She does, doesn't she, Tulsi?
Yeah.
I don't think you guys realize. You know what? Fine, we'll do it, and then I'll show you just how toxic a person I left.
But at least you can finally just shut the book for good and just move on with your life.
Wait, does that mean we get to be there?
Yes!
Well, legally, I do need to finish this job I took on. So yes, evidently, I'm at least going to see him to the door.
I would love to meet her. She's very muscular.
Oh, is she strong?
She looks strong.
Oh my goodness. I could see
know.
why Gojin would date her.
Would and feel intimidated enough to leave her.
I was not intimidated. It's
No, I was saying they were
the fact of the
equals, so
matter
they're both
is that at
strong.
the end of the day, she would not accept me as an equal partner.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was mostly joking, Gojin. I'm sure you had your reasons.
I was just
But-
thinking y'all were strong and y'all make a strong couple and like, yeah.
That is also nice. I mean, your children would have been just balls of pure muscle. The genetic disposition of that.
I will drag you for the rest of your life about the method. I do not doubt that your reasons were sound.
All right.
But man, what a method!
So
And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for the fact that you dragged me into this massive conspiracy.
So really, now you have two things to thank me for.
More like two things to kill you for.
okay.
Yes, those are often the same thing while I'm working.
So dragging aside, what are you doing next?
I mean, we're going to the door. We're mentioning, yeah, we're here. Rayhan had asked us to bring. I'm on contract to bring this man in for an incident at the wedding ceremony earlier today. I'm going to bring the beer in, so he can go.
The beer is going to be cloaked.
Yes,
because he doesn't want to be identified here. But it just says that just request for an audience with Rihon is.
Yeah, just
Right.
request an audience with Rayhan and
Okay. Yeah,
run
so
on
you
with
are
them.
ushered into a suite where there seems to be a drawing room, like it's someone's suite for the wedding, presumably for this family. And you are you all going?
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
And you wait for a couple of minutes, and in enters Rihan and Balvinder. And they both sit down. Rihan comes, it's like, brother, you're here. Why did you run away? And then you hear sort of a snicker coming out of Balvinder, and not like some murmuring under her breath.
I ran away because I didn't really want to be discovered. Thank you, Johnsley.
You're welcome. I'm Johnsley. Hello.
Hello, are you okay? Did my brother manhandle you?
I'm fine. At this point, I've been traveling with your brother for a few weeks, and we've gotten to know each other pretty well. So it wasn't entirely out of the left field for me, though I do feel very poorly for that palace guard whose nose he broke.
Yes. Speaking of the possible assault and battery charge, hopefully at a later date. Yes, I have, as requested, retrieved Nabir, currently going under the alias Gojun, and I have the full story of the story of the wedding, etc. But as far as the contract is concerned, here he is. The issue was that he did not want to be identified by members of his family due to many reasons, but I'm going to go ahead and go with embarrassment as the primary one here, resulting in him grabbing his traveling companion, Connie, and attempting to flee, resulting in the incident because Johnsley did not wish to flee for reasons I will explain later, but I do believe there is a long overdue conversation to have before that.
And Rihan starts digging through his belongings and pulls out the tiniest coin pouch ever and tosses it to you. And if you look through it, it is like it's the equivalent of like a couple of copper pieces type of a thing.
Stingy. Okay.
And
So
You got paid. Fantastic.
Belvinder initially is kind of staring at Nabir / Gojin, but the minute gently you start talking about, oh, I've known your the brother and travel together, starts kind of doing a full head to toe kind of
I think can I have gotten the tomato like thoroughly out of my hair at this point? Okay, cool.
It's a little sticky,
but it's hidden. All Belvinder will see, as usual, is just like short, kind of cropped, curly, dark hair, brown skin, lab coat, kind of a doctor's coat, and these wrapped up arms and hands. Woman of average stature, queer, definitely queer, very queer looking, normal height, and she's just sort of standing there like, hi, to Belvinder.
And she sort of looks at you and acknowledges, but does not say hi. Like, looks at you, acknowledges you're there, and then sort of looks back at Gojin / Nabir. Well, I believe you have something to say?
I don't think it's so much as to say as to request, he says through gritted teeth. But the bride is about to marry into a very criminal family.
She is about to marry a murderous fraud who's been in massive debt for years and is planning on using this marriage to get out of it. Yes, but I actually had like
the irony
part
is
of the
not
speech
lost
prepared.
On me.
I actually have part of the speech prepared once we get an audience, but yeah, keep going. I believe there's an entire emotionally vulnerable reunion, or at least conversation to be had here.
So let me get this straight. You leave me a note. Make me look like damaged goods to everyone in the community, and then, which leads to your brother being foisted on me. No offense, Rihan. And he kind of just mumbles like, offense taken.
Oh god, poor man.
And now, after all these weeks and months, you get discovered here, and you're asking me help to get in touch with the princess because I know the princess. So what you're saying is you need my help.
Well, I don't really need your help.
No, yes, we do. He does. Gojin?
I believe
to be clear, we need your help, and a lot of people are going to die if we don't manage to do this.
Yes, that's exactly
but
it.
But also, Gojin does in fact owe you this conversation, and should be getting that done now, because we still have like a day and a half to get this done, and I can always shoot the groom.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Tulsi, Rahim, maybe we should step out and give them some privacy.
Yeah,
We're just going to listen in anyway, so you.
Well, we won't be here physically, so that will help. Okay,
yeah. I think Tulsi walks out.
Yeah, Johnson's gonna tug on Rahim, like to get him to like leave too.
Fine.
And they like close the door.
Sure, just leave me here all by myself.
Just shout if she starts attacking.
And then Rihon's like, but I'm still here.
You can wait outside with us if you'd like.
And Rihon just kind of scuttles out.
Oh, he's so pathetic.
You see, it was 2 versus 1, and Gojin was about to, bring out the staff for comfort. Even though the staff doesn't really talk very well, but no. Now they're alone.
So, at this point, Balvinder kind of turns away from you and paces a little, and she says, "You know what hurt the most, Nibir? We were friends." We were friends and we loved each other. I loved you. You could have told me what was going on. I don't, I mean, even though it would have been great if our houses got together and everything, if you didn't want to get married, you could have just spoken to me.
Maybe, but I know your ambition, and well, let's just say that your father didn't see the same path forward.
I knew. I always knew. You think I didn't know this? You know he always was a little more, let's just say, he thinks women should be leaders of their households. And I figured, at least with you by my side, you'd understand that I am better than you, and we could have worked together.
He laughs a little bit. I don't. I respect your skills, but I wouldn't necessarily say that you were better than me.
What, just because you're a son, you can do the job better than me?
No, I know my own limits, and I know how much more knowledge of tea is out there waiting to be discovered. But you tended to rest on your family's name, let that carry your business, and that was not the way that I wanted to carry the business, or I would have carried a business. But I think that your hubris was only going to grow over time, and I see that it has. Oh. And I don't think you would have ever really accepted me as an equal partner. And I think that you would have actually resented me because your father would never really give up on seeing me at the head of the household. But I didn't want to lead your family business. I wanted to create my own business. And that's why I left, because at the end of the day, there is just so much out there that we don't know about tea. Just waiting to be discovered. And I wanted to know for sure that I am as good as I am when it comes to raising tea. And not always be wondering whether or not that I was only this good because I got handed everything to me.
And she doesn't say anything for a couple of moments. And she says, "You know what? I'll help you gain an audience. But I want something in return."
What's that?
I want you to truly apologize for leaving. No ifs, ands, buts, none of the stupid explanation of why you left. It's just, in all of this conversation, you haven't even said sorry.
I won't apologize for leaving, but I will apologize for not leaving in a more proper manner. Because I'm not sorry. I've grown so much in the past months. I've learned a lot about the way that other people prepare tea and how they grow it. And
we might actually just get executed by the princess's side here.
Massive criminal conspiracies aside, I feel that things have worked out for the best. You have what you want, which is sole control of your family's business.
Yes, and I worked hard for it. This entire thing would not have happened if I did not go out trying to make a better network, better represent us better. This was me. And whatever you think you're gonna do here today, it will be thanks to me helping you. Remember that. And remember that whatever you do in your future, it's thanks to me. And she sort of calls out, "Okay, y'all can come in now."
Rahab just kind of opens the door where his ear has kind of been pressed against the keyhole probably the entire time.
Yep. As you open the door, John Lee stumbles a little because she was like pressed. Like,
are we doing the Three Stooges sort of thing? Or
yeah, we are.
We
yeah, like just all four of us are kind of stacked up on the door. Rahim inexplicably at the bottom, kind of expanding as he comes into the room.
And Gojin's brother on the very top. And Johnson quickly dusts herself off and goes, "Oh well, thank you so much for helping us. That really does mean a lot. And I know Gojin sometimes can, be a little emotional walls, a little stoic, a little shut off. But I'm sure deep down he really does feel bad. I'm sure.
Really sorry Nabir has been such an asshole to you about this.
You just see Gojin, he takes the cup of tea or the empty cup in his hand, and he just crushes it.
Oh,
grind the powder.
Whoa!
As he eyes Rahim.
Well, okay, boys, let's settle down here, okay? It's not quite the wedding yet. No need to break glasses. I'm sorry, what was the name of your ex again?
Belvinder.
Belvinder, okay. Belvinder, again, thank you. I'm not Gojin, so I can't apologize on his behalf, but I do feel for you. I know we're strangers, but for what it's worth, I know how it feels to be rejected, let's say, and it doesn't mean anything about who you are. It just means the priorities of the person doing the rejecting are elsewhere. That's all.
Did you just not listen to the whole conversation? What you said?
Well, I didn't. We were not eavesdropping, right, Rahim? We were being very
Yes, we are coming into this entirely blind. Please ignore it.
Yes, ignore anything. The fact that we fell into the room, but that's what I wanted to say.
And she sort of leans over and kind of whispers in your ear, you know he's gonna leave you too.
Junsley doesn't really know what to say to that. She just sort of clams up a little. Well, it doesn't matter to me. We're the four of us, we're gonna part ways eventually. Right? That's just the nature of things. Winds scatter, people come and go. That's all. Nothing personal about it. Well,
he says, so I do have a personal tea tasting this evening. In a couple of hours, essentially. Meet me here. Meet me at the princess's wing in 3 hours, and you may have your audience with her.
Thank you.
Thank you, Belvinder. Thank you. I hope the tea tasting goes well.
Well, it always does, because I do make exquisite tea. And she kind of basically turns around and walks off in a sort of, you are dismissed.
I hear it's like the Radiohead of tea.
Okay, bye.
I don't know what that means.
Doesn't actually say that. And says goodbye, shuffles off, thanks the brother, and leaves.
Yeah, I figure back out of the room. Yeah.
So, how are you doing, Gojin?
Yeah, I appreciate how all of you had my back there.
Well, look, I'm not gonna say bad things to her face. She's giving us a favor, right? And she could rescind that favor at any time. Don't take it personally, Gojin. Of all people, I thought you'd understand that.
Literally all you had to do was say sorry.
I'm surprised she even is giving us the favor in the first place. Regardless of who's right. You know what I mean? Like, if I were her, I'd be hopping mad.
Really?
I mean, I'm not her, but like Rahim said, I'm sure your reasons were accurate, and based on that conversation, it does seem that, you know, she's a little full of herself, let's say, and I don't have too much sympathy for the rich. I don't, at all. But I don't know, Gojin, it just seems like it was a messy relationship. I don't know if it was so cut and dry.
Well, she skips like day 2, so, you know.
Well, your glutes might be more bodacious than hers, but let's say your generosity of spirit are perhaps rivals, in that neither of you have very much of that.
Okay, so unless there's a very particular thing you would like to do...
I have one quote to get in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Tulsi's like, but Bashir, I'm sorry, but Rahim has plenty of spirits. And that's it.
So unless there's something very particular you want to do, I would like to skip forward to the tea tasting that you're invited with the private audience with the princess. And I would like to actually get into there. You see Balvinder there, and you see the princess and a couple of courtiers, like sort of you would think like attendants. And the princess looks at all of you and says, Balvinder has said that you have some information for me that is incredibly important.
Rahim pulls out the dossier and, like, the original books, which he has brought here for this meeting. Yes, it is unfortunately about the groom, and specifically how his family came into their wealth and the current state of their finances, all of which I believe you have been misled on the hard financial aspects. And he opens it up, like, just the ledgers, and goes, they're broke, and they've been broke for some time, and they're only getting more broke as time goes. And this wedding is on their family's part almost certainly just an attempt to reverse that. On the moral side, in a revelation that will be hitting the rest of the country over the next few weeks, they have gotten where they are through magical mass murder, in essence, using a certain artifact to mass produce goods and destroying the bodies of those they put to work. So, two pretty big revelations, but we did bring the evidence with us, and we figured it would be best if you knew before the wedding finished.
And she sort of kind of like puts her hand out for said physical evidence.
Yeah, the journals, ledgers, etc. that we've got, and I could try using the ring, but it would be really embarrassing if I rolled a natural one right now.
It's okay, Rahim. Even if the ring backfires, I'll do my best to fix you.
It
But we'll
disintegrates
also
its
have proof
victims,
that the ring
Dudley.
is
You'll
what
understand if I'd rather not use the magic ring that kills people.
But we'll also have proof that if it did, it's like,
you understand that I don't want to be proof, right? We got the journal detailing what it does and how it does it. We've got the ledgers detailing the finances and how this all went down.
That's true.
We've got the ring itself, which can be magically analyzed to tell that it's magic in all likelihood. I'm not currently planning to use the ring because A, it's horribly unethical, and B, it might kill me. And C, it can't be removed and starts killing me if I try. Which, has been the secret of their wealth for some time.
Yes. So, Princess, please, you have to call off the wedding.
And she starts poring over the documents and she says, okay, but how do I know this isn't some sort of a plan to destabilize this whole thing? I mean, you say there's a magic ring.
I am wearing the magic ring. Let's see. Is there an ability that lets you? There's no guarantee that she would have it. Well, if I turn into dust, let me say I told you so. I'm 15. I do not turn into dust. I've tried to create basically like a large statue that could not possibly have been created. Probably, just a large statue just on the table. Not big enough to knock things over, but definitely there's no way this could have been hidden. The ring definitely just did this in front of everyone.
And
just for effect, you should have made the statue be the appearance, take on the princess's appearance.
Ooh, yeah.
You can if you
actually
want to.
I should have it take the prince's appearance.
Ooh, the groom.
Yes. Yeah, I'll have it take the prince's appearance. Just see how this goes.
And the courtiers that are around kind of gasp. I was like, like a amazement gasp, and the princess looks at it and says, "Okay, maybe I do need to have a conversation with my spouse to be."
Well, just princess. If I hope I'm not stepping out of line here, but he's a snake. He will say and do whatever he can to convince you that he is innocent. And as for our intentions, I assure you, we have nothing to gain.
Well, he will stop trying to murder us all for the ring. But
yes, and we have everything to lose, is what I mean. If the wedding continues, we're as good as dead. He'll have the resources at his disposal. He'll have the, your royal name to kill us and disappear us without a trace.
Also, the story has already been broken to the public in that it is currently transiting across the country at speed of letter carrier.
Yes, we're trying to tell everyone we know about this, and we're not trying to destabilize your family or tarnish your name at all. We're trying to help you, and we don't want more people to die.
And her brows furrow a little bit, and she says, but with everybody's here, and if the marriage doesn't happen, it'll make me look bad.
Marry someone else. Don't you have a person out there that you like a lot, but due to family pressures were never able to pursue?
We do have a locket that lets you take the appearance of whoever's appearance is carved into the locket.
Yes, we could stage the wedding, but in secret, so you don't lose face.
Ultimately, you could also make this a big thing on taking down one of the largest criminal enterprises in the country in recent years and shore up your legitimacy and send a warning to any who would attempt to abuse the magnanimity of the throne.
That's also another option, and then you could turn the wedding into just a celebration of your success.
You have a point. All right. Just so I can verify your claims and also make sure you don't die, you are welcome to stay in my part of the wing for the next few days while I sort this out.
Thank you, princess.
Thank you.
It's at that point Gojin starts helping himself to the tea and doing some taste testing of his own.
Some of the ladies just give you like dark looks, like you're just going to help yourself, sort of a look.
Yeah, but the Gojin also has his little notebook and pen out, so he's taking a very academic approach to this.
Huh. And Balvinder also gives you this look of incredulity, like, really? Here? Now? Okay, so I'm gonna actually say that the princess does spend a couple of days going over everything, and does, with Rahim's suggestion, actually publicly denounce the groom and call the wedding off in a very dramatic fashion. And we will actually now spend our last few minutes going over a couple of epilogues with each person. So, the princess is pleased with what you have done, that she would like to give you a reward, either a job within the royal palace or something, essentially a wish of your choosing. Like, as in, like, anything within sort of wealth and whatever reason, not a genie wish sort of a thing. Grant you something that is grantable. So let's actually start with Gojin. I I believe with the tea testing and everything, that actually wants to maybe maintain you as a royal sort of tea taster or something to do with that. If you choose to accept.
So let's hold up a minute.
Mm.
How did the tea tasting go?
So Balvinder made a couple of blends, but the base is all from Bahari, like from the various plantations that she and the family owns. They're essentially like new tea leaf, like a white tea, then a black tea, like a green tea, but they're all still and some of them are maybe spiced or add like special other things added, but they're all from Bahari. They're like the best of the best that she can procure.
Okay, well, during the tasting, Gojin is just going to say, pretty typical, but all this tea just doesn't have nuance because it's all just in your face punchiness.
And the princess
There's no
says,
real subtlety there. And Gojin's going to prepare some of the tea that he's been carrying around with him, that he's been fiddling with and experimenting with along the way, that doesn't come from Bahari, but it's been treated with some, Bahari techniques, but it's largely come from the south.
Yep. And the princess is like, this is something I haven't tried yet. Definitely is different.
So, okay, so side note, there's an ability called Summon the Blood for a warrior, which basically means that when you regroup, you bolster the spirits of your party by reciting a poem. You must recite a poem at the table for your friends. You can write your own or read one from another author, like from a book, movie, or TV show. When completed, your party recovers an additional 3 hit points from regrouping. So I took the liberty of changing that to summon the tea, in which he just serves tea to perform this effect. And it does cost adventure points. It costs 1 adventure point.
Yeah.
I would like to use that with my
for
tea.
sure.
So it has that extra effect.
Yeah, and she feels quite invigorated and is like, so Balvinder, why didn't you bring other samples? And Balvinder looks incensed. And it's after a couple of days she does come with that offer, the princess, of, well, aside from everything, it seems like you know quite a lot about tea, and I've been looking for someone who could perhaps create blends fit for royalty and other distinguished guests.
I feel like I want to travel more, and a role like that would not be conducive. But
well, you would be acquiring tea as well, so if you do need to travel, that can be arranged. Think about it. Like, it's not
sure.
a pressure sort of a thing. It's like, you're welcome here.
Okay. Would be a nice spot, a nice point to bring back whatever I figure out. But after the tea tasting, he's going to put a little pouch of his tea into Balvinder's hands and then close it and just say, "Yeah, it's all you." Before he walks out.
Oh man.
Okay. Who would like to go next? Do you want to go next, Jensley, or do you want, in terms of like, what would you take a job in the palace, or would you ask the princess or something? What do you think would be sort of an epilogue for you?
I think an epilogue for this story would be probably asking a job in the palace. I think makes a lot of sense for Johnslee to work under their like most experienced and wise healers, so she can continue her research into basically solving death. But like specifically looking for a work environment where that kind of unconventional research would not be frowned upon, and that she could try to get the support and resources to try to continue. But if that seems like a culture clash to the royal palace, then she would probably just ask for some money, some like resources to help support her own independent research as she travels around the region and the country.
Yeah. I think she basically says that you are free to do like you are a friend of the princess.
Cool. So would I be able to stay at the palace, or would I travel nonetheless?
I think it's sort of like you whenever you are in town, if you choose not to stay, you are always welcome at the palace.
Cool. Great. Then in that case, I think she's just gonna take like a little bit of money, like a few, maybe like a nice horse, some like resources, potions, whatnot, and take those on the road with her. And she sort of like journeys around the country and does her own research.
Yeah, Gojin was actually also going to offer Johnslee something. That we had that pretty heavy talk over at that crematorium a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. What about it?
Well, yeah, I've been thinking about it and thinking about tea and just life in general. And, I think you're kind of right. Just, there really isn't any sort of meaning to life. It's something that we just have to figure it out on our own. And it's just that I don't feel like I'm going to, well, I didn't feel like I was going to figure it out just being in Balvinder's household. And I don't think that being here in the palace is going to help me grow or figure that out. But I think it's out there. I think it's out there for you too. So, no offense, but you're a little scrawny and don't fight as well. So, you want some company, you can figure our businesses sort of just align together and we can do that.
Oh, that is unexpected. Aww. And Johnslee goes in for a hug.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And it's a very awkward hug.
Aww.
And he's just going to say, like, I really took offense to the fact that you said I didn't have a generous spirit because I traveled with all three of you for weeks.
I'm not sure how that's meant to be evidence of your generous spirit.
I mean, I was protecting. I held up my end of the bargain, and
I suppose you're right. Well, is your offer to travel with me just extended to me? Or shall we ask Tulsi and Rahim too?
Well, they can come too, I guess. It's
Oh, well, it looks like who's the big softy now? And she like punches him like a little too hard, like in the abs, like, who's skipping leg day now? She punches him like in the thigh, like affectionately.
I don't skip leg day. That's a bad thing.
It is. Well, oh, this is so exciting. Well, let me get Tulsi. I think they're still in their room in the palace. And Rahim, I don't know where he's off to. I feel like he's enjoying those hot springs a little too much. Those built-in baths. I feel like it's not good for his lizard circulation. Or maybe it is. I'm not exactly entirely sure. Tulsi! Rahim?
Speaking of which, Rahim, what do you do?
So I'm torn. So I'm torn between like basically some sort of private investigator for the palace, basically causing trouble for the nobility and ferreting out secrets in the capital, or he asks basically, I need a blank pardon and I'm gone by dawn. And he's gone while everyone else is negotiating their stuff to go about causing trouble. And I'm not sure which one I want to do. I feel like it so Junsley calls out, calls out for Tulsi and Rahim, and we kind of cut to the road in some village somewhere nearby where Rahim ended up overnight, where he's currently basically riling up two farmers who are arguing with each other over stolen chickens, over who supposedly stole a chicken while he's figuring out what the actual thing was. And it kind of cuts back to the princess offering him, like, so what do you want? And I'm not really in this for the money or position, as it were. Largely, I'm in this first, I guess, and I don't say this often because it's kind of embarrassingly genuine, but I do like getting justice for people who otherwise wouldn't get it. But more importantly, that look on his face when he realized you weren't announcing the wedding celebration, but were announcing that him and his father were going to be arrested and that this was the worst day of his life. That's what I do this for. And you don't get to do that much in a royal palace. There's too much circumstance around it. So if you could get me a blank pardon, that would be great. And I will be out of your hair by dawn.
And yeah, she basically gives you a royal seal off like you're a friend of the princess. So, she can't really pardon you for things you do in other places. That's not how it works. But essentially, it's like, you've got some clout. And you are a welcome guest when you are in town. Especially for bringing such... essentially saving her from what could have been a big mistake. But here's the other $1 million question. Where's the ring?
I can't get rid of it unless we figured something out. He's probably
you could cut your finger off.
He is currently pretty attached to that finger. He's probably looking for ways to get rid of it as he travels, but he's not that type of lizard. Also, wrong limb. More worryingly.
Okay, and Tulsi, what about you?
I think when the princess turns to Tulsi, they're like, I don't know. I mean, I got on my tiny village to travel, and oh, that's something. Maybe you can help my village. Maybe you can buy the mangoes from them, because there is like this gross. What was the word for them? Come in. Yeah, like rack. That's a big word. I wouldn't know that word, but yeah, sure, that one. trying to upmark prices and like trying to swindle like my family out of their mangoes, and they're just trying to survive in their small village. So if you like mangoes, we have the best from our village.
And she sort of, snaps her fingers, and a scribe comes, and she kind of whispers into the scribe and says, "Done."
Thank you. And I think Tulsi, for a hot second, hugs the princess and is like, "Oh, sorry."
And she actually initially is kind of like, "What just happened?" But then kind of is like, "Hugs. Hugs are nice. Pat, pat.
Pat, pat." Yeah. And then once Junsley is yelling for Tulsi, Tulsi's like, "Yeah, what's up?"
Junsley goes, "Oh, Tulsi, there you are. Do you know where Rahim... Oh, did we already grab Rahim?
I think Rahim disappeared.
I think Rahim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rahim just kind of disappeared, and
Okay.
until next season, as
Got
it were.
it. Got it. You didn't see Rahim anywhere, did you?
No.
Oh well. Oh well. Well, I'll deal. I'm gonna go through that emotional journey at a later point, knowing that he's gone. But for now, Tulsi, come. I have some great news I want to share with you, and with
What's
Gojin. Gojin.
And go ahead.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Oh, yeah. Gojin just appears behind Johnsley. What is it?
Well, the three of us, Tulsi, if you want to, Gojin and I, we're gonna travel. We're just gonna keep doing what we were doing, I guess, but without the threat of death following us like a pack of vultures. And we were wondering if you wanted to come with us, unless you have other places to go.
You want me to come with you?
Of course, Tulsi. For several reasons. One, you are weirdly extremely powerful. For reasons we're gonna have to talk about that, Tulsi. Don't think you're getting off scot-free. Your transformation, the thunder, anyway. But the more important thing is beyond your usefulness to me. You're a sweet kid. I mean that.
I'm sorry. Just Gojin just eye rolls when he hears beyond your usefulness to me. I'm like, really? I'm the bad person here?
Well,
Yeah,
what do you think? What do you say?
I mean, I want to travel more, and now that my family, I think, is taken care of, I can just do what I want.
Is that what you asked of the princess?
Yeah, I asked her to help supply with the mango farming down there.
You know, I don't think I knew that about you.
Y'all didn't really ask me much about my family.
We sure didn't. And I think this trip will be a great way for us to get to know each other.
Yeah, let's do it. Where are we going?
And with that, it sort of fades to black. And this particular arc and season ends. And let's go around the table one last time, at least for 2020. We'll be back in January. And we'll definitely post information of before we start our next season of what to expect. But for now, as we wrap up this episode and wrap up this particular season, I'd like everybody to tell us where you are and where we can find you, and also maybe a key moment of this whole season that you like or didn't like or whatever, what have you. So we'll start counterclockwise. We'll start with Morgan.
I wasn't prepared to go first. Hi, Morgan. You can find me on all the socials at Serena Bezos. I had a blast. Thank you so much, Mariam. Thank you so much, Anino, Bashir, Connie, for just being amazing humans and playing with this game and me. Yeah, favorite highlight of this the whole season, I guess we're doing. Is that right?
Whatever you would like.
Okay. I think the ghosts. Bashir, just Rahim's dealings of just like do things first, ask questions later. Johnsley's sort of like up and Adam's like, oh, I will do this thing, hold on. And then Gojin just being like, I'm gonna take my shirt off and do things. Like, it's just all so good. That's what I love.
Side note, I think it's hilarious that Rahim skipped town and didn't even ask for an exorcism for the 16 spirits that still recited.
You did the job. They leave that, right? They were gonna hang around until the thing got done. They're done.
Yeah.
Have they though?
Are they?
I guess we'll have to find out later.
Yeah. And with that, Bashir.
Hey, I'm Bashir Gauss. He, him. I played Rahim, our favorite, belovable, questionably lovable large lizard man. Also, he, him. You can find me at havocfet.itch.io. I publish stuff on the DMs Guild. I do a lot of freelance writing. I believe I'm on Kobold Press's Southlands book which has a Kickstarter starting December 1st. I'm writing a couple of things for that. And I think my favorite moment in the campaign, episode like 1, putting the ring on, and then just realizing, oh no, I have made a terrible mistake.
Okay, and next is Connie.
Wonderful. Hi, everyone. I'm Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. I played John-Sully Tahi, the doctor. Highlights for myself would definitely include the conversation with Gojin last session about life and ambition and what's the point of doing things if you're going to die anyway. I think that was a really good character moment for John-Sully. I feel like I really got to do what I wanted to do with her in that moment. So thank you for doing that with me, Anino. Speaking of which, my favorite Gojin moment, this episode. Really, I loved seeing, you know, the complexity of character that you were able to bring out in Gojin, and seeing vulnerability that we never really seen before from your character was a really nice treat. And you know, your character's values, and I think Gojin has grown a lot, especially that last episode has like been pushed to grow in perhaps an uncomfortable direction for him, but one that was necessary. Learning more things about what he stands for, I think, and being reaffirmed in his ideals. It was great to see. Morgan, I loved your portrayal of Tulsi this entire campaign. Such a sweet kid. I think someone in chat said everyone sucks except Tulsi, which is true. Everyone has like their asshole moments except Tulsi, because Tulsi is just so sweet. I think is very much like the heart of the party. And I think it's very good. I was just really appreciating all these little like character acting touches you did, like just sipping water while people were talking, or like, you know, like stating like flavoring how you would do things or react to things. I think really helped me have like a firmer grasp, a more tangible grasp on Tulsi in any given scene. And that was just like a consistent like acting thing you were doing that I was really enjoying this entire campaign. Of course, like Bashir, Rahim is great. You're really good at monologuing. You're like really good at monologuing in character and like going on these like long, you know, like very in character, like, well, this happened and this happened, and we're fucked. But like being really good about it. And I think your comedic timing is something that I've just really enjoyed throughout this entire campaign. With Rahim, there was something you said this session specifically. You were like, oh, and that, you know, that kind of sucks because we kind of got screwed, and he just sort of moved on. It was just so funny. I like lost my goddamn marbles when you said that. I forget. I think it was when we were in the tea shop. But I've just been really enjoying your acting this entire campaign. And of course, last but not least, our wonderful, wonderful guide, Mariam. This was so amazing. I'm so excited to see where we go from here in the new year. Thank you so much for everything. Your creative energy, your embodiment of the various NPCs, weaving this huge plot from like top to end and finishing it at a wedding was awesome. And just like all the I loved all the little the magical items you gave us were all really, really, really cool, and the way you gave them to us were also very creative, like through an auction and whatnot. And the way you handled, I think, time in this very elastic way, I really appreciated, because like something that I think can be kind of difficult is be like, all right, well, I guess a few weeks pass and you reach your destination, but you were really good at like narrating travel. And making it feel like we'd gone through a lot as a party without any of it feeling like a slog, if that makes sense. So like really good at handling time and pacing in that way that I appreciated. And of course, like all of the characters and all like the cultural touches, like hell yeah, we're not playing in like some whatever like white fantasy world. And I really, really loved, you know, the setting that you created. The setting of Sarzameen is just fantastic. And yeah, that's me. You can Anti-Orientalist World. We're on Twitter and Twitch. We stream Saturdays at 3 p.m. Central U.S. time. That is Transplanar RPG. That's what I do. That was really long, so I'm gonna pass it along.
Yeah, and next, Anino.
Hey everyone, my name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. I also do have a website. It's aninogaming.com, where lately I've been pushing a lot of flash fiction based on my Cyberpunk Red character. The Cyberpunk Red campaign happens Fridays over on the Wandering DM channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a sponsored game, so thanks to Artalsorian for helping us out with that. By the way, the Cyberpunk Red core rulebook is now out and available both on PDF and in hardcover, so be sure to check that out. There are a couple of Easter eggs in there that may or may not resemble some of us on that game. But apart from that, then I'm over on the Level Up Dice channel on Saturday at 1 p.m. for a Scion campaign, also DM'd by Wandering DM. And then over on Saturday night, the doubleheader, I am on the Praxagora Thesmophoria channel for The Regiment, which is a game that we all play asshole British people in the Peninsular War during the late 1800s in Spain, dealing with asshole French people. So, yeah, that's a great time. As far as my favorite moments in this campaign, for Tulsi, it was the littlest of woo, because I kept hearing that in my head over and over again afterwards. Let's see. Yeah, for John Sully, it was definitely the crematorium, although the argument over the open door of that doctor's office, the fact that carried on for so long and got thrown back to today, that was great. And then for Rahim, yeah, definitely the ring, but also the spirits thing, just deciding to, accept 16 spirits. Gojin for killing that palace guard that was trying to kill them all. But this episode, wow. Ghosting an ex-girlfriend, and yeah, suddenly he's the worst guy in the room. I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah.
The trick is that Gojin can feel shame.
But also, handing that knife to Mariam and offering to encounter his mom at that point, I was not disappointed by the way that all went down. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Just this has been quite a ride, and
you're on mute.
Yeah, I think you're muted.
Oh, am I muted? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. My headphones have conked off, which is why there's a weird sound issue, and it's a good thing we have captions, because we would have missed a lot of the information. But you can find me on Twitter at Media Junkie, and honestly, everything y'all had talked about, those were my favorite moments, so I'm not going to repeat them. I think I'll say that the favorite NPC I liked playing was Uncle Cat. Definitely channeling.
Uncle Cat.
Yeah, so I'm so thankful to have y'all as players for this particular adventure and game, and I'm looking forward to what we do in the next season. So, yeah. With that, I think we are going to end. We are a little over time, and we're actually I'm going to switch to the raid screen like the thank you for watching. And if you can stick around just a little while longer, we are going to raid, I believe we're going to raid all nerds here if they're still streaming at this hour. They aren't. Anyways, we might raid, so if you can stick around, please stick around and give whoever we raid while I look a lot of love. And I believe for December we are going to not be streaming too many things, but we do have a Chimera finale left and one more game roulette left, so check out our Twitter for more information about that. And with that, thank you everybody for tuning in, the raids, follows, and everything. And I will now transition us over to the thank you for watching. And yeah, just stick around and give some love to whoever we raid next. All right, thank you. Bye.